What happens when you take two guys from New York who absolutely love to talk and give them a license to rant? You get your hosts, John Peasy and Mikey Sausage.
Hey,
you happy? Am I too
I'm
loud
happy.
still?
Look at me. Look at me. Look what I'm wearing. I'm freezing in my studio.
Yeah, I'm gonna let your studio. I'm gonna let everybody. Is my shirt better now? You happy now? I changed my shirt.
Looks much better. People don't know that we just taped the show.
You know, sometimes we record a couple of shows in a row, and John gets really pissed off if I wear the same shirt 2 shows in a row. He wants to make it seem like it's different, but you know, he's like the wizard in the Oz.
We just want to make sure that we have a different look on each show. The backgrounds may change, but we may change, but the backgrounds stay the same, right?
You look like you're ice freezing cold. You know,
Mike, you want to see something? I just put on these.
What the hell is that?
Uggs. I'm wearing Uggs.
Oh, men can't wear Uggs.
I have to wear them. They're nice and warm.
My partner wears Uggs.
Do you know why I'm wearing this? Because the guest that we have, her last name is Foote.
Clever.
Hey, how are you doing with the sausage? How are you doing with the sausage factory?
Since the last time you saw me?
Okay. I'm trying to keep it fresh. I'm like your sausage.
Yeah, so we can't, you never know. So I'm doing okay. I mean, hanging in there, trying to, I'm waiting for everybody to get vaccinated so we can walk around and be normal again. I'm tired of, I mean, that mask is just driving me insane. Not to wear it, but like, I go into a store and I forget it,
Me too.
And you walk in and everybody's looking at you like there's something going on. I'm a leper, and then I said, oh crap, the mask. I feel like Batman. I got to run. I forgot my mask. I got to run inside, get the mask, come back in.
I went to get a bagel today. Same thing. I go to the bagel store. I go in. I forget the mask. I walk right into the bagel store, and the lady's like, "You don't have the mask." And I was like, "Oh, right. I don't even have one. You could buy one over there." I'm like, "Oh, okay." It's like $6, little plastic thing. I buy it, and I look at it, and it says, "This does not prevent COVID-19." I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "What do you want me to?" I said, "What's the point if it doesn't prevent me from giving
you're lying right now? That's a lie.
What are we doing here?" I said, "All right, I will join." Huh?
Are you telling the truth?
I am telling the truth. It says this does not prevent COVID-19 on the plastic. So I'm thinking to myself, why am I wearing a mask? So I'm a mask hole. Okay, I'll be a mask hole. Give me the thing. I'll put it on. All right, you happy now? And she said, "What could I get you?" And then I said, "I would like an everything whole wheat bagel with egg whites and cheese." And she says, "What?" I said, "I want a whole wheat bagel with egg whites." And I go like this: egg white bagel. And then she goes, "Oh, okay, thanks." And then she's like, "How much is that?" And I know she's like, "That's $2.41." It's so stupid. It's all so stupid.
I mean, it's not stupid if it works. I mean, if it works, it's okay. But, you can't hear. You're right. The other day, I went to the bank. So what I did on purpose, I had the mask on. I got this really big one that my sister got. It's like almost like a burqa, but, without the top half. So I got this big mask on. I put sunglasses on and a baseball hat, and I went into the bank. Right? So I walk into the bank. No, but they know me in the bank, right? When I went up and I said, "Give me all your money," and the woman looked at me and said, "I'm only kidding. I don't want to start hitting the buttons, But when could you ever wear a mask and like into a bank? Just think about that.
Apparently, there's a law in Texas that you're allowed to carry guns in Texas, obviously, and if you're not allowed to wear the mask when you're carrying a gun.
No way.
I'm telling you, that's the law. Check it out. I'm not making it up. I'm telling you the truth. Check it out. You think I'm joking with you? I'm not.
That's almost like a great joke.
It's always.
You can open carry gun, but if you have a mask, you got to take it off.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know. Hey, so listen, tonight, this is a lot of fun. Okay. This is always a lot of fun. But tonight is really even more fun because this lovely lady we have as our guest is a paranormal investigator. Do you know what paranormal? You know what paranormal is?
Yes, John. You want to explain it to me, or
Not a person in a wheelchair.
Why would you say?
I said it's not a person in a wheelchair.
Oh no, I understand that.
Okay.
Oh, you wanted to make a joke? Is that what you were saying?
No, I'm not making a joke.
Yeah, Leland, he was setting himself up, but it's okay.
Oh, by the way, we didn't acknowledge Leland. That's our producer, is Leland Best. He's the guy that we call God. Is God there? Can he say hello, God? See, that's him.
But since his last name is Best, if he does something bad, what happens?
Then he's Leland Bad.
He's got to live up to his name. He's got to live up to his name.
Yes. No, he does a good job. He got our sound working really well.
Tell,
anyway,
tell us about this young lady that we have, Mr. Peasy.
All I want to say is that she's a paranormal investigator. She runs this place called Croix Paranormal, and she bought. Matter of fact, that'd be a funny concept too. Do you think that a ghost would turn around and have to wear a mask and he'd be going, ooh, ooh, ooh?
I don't know if they go, ooh, ooh. You're watching too much. Too much TV.
No, I'm saying boo, but I can't pronounce the B because I had the mask on. That's my point. Anyway, yeah. I don't want to bring this in on a funny note because this woman does a very serious thing, and I'm really looking forward to speak to her. She actually runs a place called. She bought a house. She bought a haunted house, and they rent it out to do events. Other people to come in, paranormal investigators, and they rent the house out for the weekend. It's called the Boyd House, and it's in Minnesota. And I don't know what history this home has, but I look forward to meeting her. And her name, and she's here today. And her name, and she has three names, as a matter of fact. It's Jill Shelley Foote. Please welcome her in. Hello, Jill Shelley Foote. Am I saying it correctly?
No. She has
we have no.
Shelley.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm dyslexic.
Jill Foote. Don't you see Jill Foote hyphen? You understand that?
You're right. Is it Foote is correct? Is it Foote?
It is, yeah. I recently got married like 2 years ago, so most people knew me as Foote. So until I kind of make more people, I'll drop that one.
What she said is her husband said, "Listen, honey, nobody knows anything about you and your last name, so I got to put my name in there." It's just like becoming a doctor. Like, I have a daughter that's going to become a doctor. I said, now remember, my last name is DeAngelis. I said, you're going to be a Dr. DeAngelis, so you're going to have to keep that even if you get married to somebody. And she said, absolutely. She said, I'm going to maybe make my husband take my last name. That's my girl, right, Peasy?
That's right.
My husband.
Good thing Jill didn't marry somebody named Z, or Hook, because then she'd be like Jill Foote Hook or Jill Foote Z. You don't want that. I'm only teasing. So look, this is so much fun because
what if his last name was NDS?
No, come on.
Bad humor? Sorry, Jill.
No, it's good. It's good. It's fun.
She's from the Midwest.
We don't want to make fun of her.
She's from the Midwest. I'm making fun of her. She's from the Midwest.
I'm actually looking forward to speak to you. Jill, I'm a big fan of paranormal. I've watched all the shows. I've always researched the stuff on television. I've read books about this. I've had certain experiences, and we all have deaths in our family and wonder what happens after life, after death. And rather than just be general about all this, because most people will be just lighthearted and general and silly about the whole thing, in all honesty, it's a really serious subject, and it's something that I know anybody or everybody would like to know more about. So just real briefly, give us your background as to how you became a paranormal investigator and how you ended up buying a haunted house. Not many people are doing what you're doing. So, I mean, the paranormal thing, there's many groups around the country, but there's not many people that go as far as like, well, I'm going to buy a haunted house. So
yeah. How
did we get this whole gig going on? What's happening?
Well, I was always a strange child. So I always really fascinated by ghosts, the paranormal since I was really young. My first experience was actually at my grandmother's house, and there was a room. Us kids, we all hated this room. It was always cold. You always felt like somebody was watching you. But one particular night, I was sleeping there. My parents were in the next room, and I woke in the middle of the night because I heard some footsteps coming out of that room. And I'm I don't know, maybe 7, 8 years old. So I'm kind of freaking out at this point because I'm like, oh my God, what is this? and my back was facing the door. And then you could almost, the kind of like when you feel like somebody's staring at you, and you just kind of know, and you turn and you look. It was like that, but 100 times more intense than that. Like they were almost looking through me. So it was really freaking me out as a kid. Hid under the blankets, heard the footsteps, turn around, walk the other way. And I get up in the morning and I talk to my grandmother. Well, first I asked my parents, and they were like, no, we didn't get up in the middle of the night. And then my grandma was like, oh my gosh, honey, he's just a ghost and he's not going to hurt you. So then I was kind of like hooked on that because I had a lot of respect for my grandma. She was very religious. So I thought, oh my gosh, for grandma to just perceive it at like that, now I got to know everything. I need to know what is going on. So I just kind of pursued reading and learning and watching documentaries. And then with the advent of the ghost hunter shows and things coming out, I was like, oh my God, you can really do this? People do this? So then I just, in 2010, met a great group of people, and we formed St. Croix Paranormal, and that was just the beginning of everything.
Wow. Mike, have you ever experienced anything ghostly in your past?
Well, I'm like really sensitive to a lot of that stuff, so I always get freaked out. There's always that room or that place, but I'll tell you a quick story. Years ago, I'd be 12 years old, right? So that's 42 years ago, right? So we go to this place in Pennsylvania. It's called Saw Creek. It's a brand new thing they're building, kind of like Villa Roma, but it's like more like homes. And my father liked this property. You got this property all the way up, and it was like 5 acres, and you could see 6 states from it. It was like unbelievable. And my mom is there, and she starts getting very sick. And now she starts throwing up. My father said, what's the matter? She goes, I'm getting a very bad feeling about it. You got to get me out of here. You got to get me out of here. Now I'm like freaking out and everything. Like my mom got this weird reaction, and like we all got in the car and we left. And she said, I don't know, it's just a bad place and this, that, and the other thing. So we come to find out that they made a deal with an Indian reservation, and that used to be an old Indian burial ground, and they moved all of the remains from that area to a new place they gave them for money, and we're going to build on it. And that's a true story. So
that's the move. There's always a movie about that. I mean, why is it Indian burial grounds that always get moved, that always become haunted? You don't hear about like, hey, what about the Orthodox Jewish community that they moved? Hey, get away from my property.
I'm just telling you, man, it was freaked me out. So I mean, is that something that people feel, Joe? Do you know people that get like ill or get sick or?
Yeah, I mean that could be. We've had people do that. You kind of get like that premonition. It's almost like when you say listen to your inner gut, listen to that gut instinct that you have. That's just ingrained in everybody. It's just when does it come through, how in tune and touch you are with yourself. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a paranormal experience. That could just be something that's one of your survival instincts that are coming.
Now the house that you bought, do you know who the ghosts are?
We know who some of them are. Yeah, we've actually had at this particular house 5 confirmed deaths at that house. We do for 100% know one of them is one of the original owners of the home. The house was built in 1901 and he moved in 1912. So I think he was the second owner of the house, and his name was Fred Eckert. He actually owned he was a very well-respected businessman. He owned one of the stores in town. So they sell, dry goods, fancy shoes, clothing. He helped build the Lutheran church. He was on the school board, the fire department. So he actually passed away in the home. His wife passed away in the home. I did find out her body. It was back in the day. The houses always kind of had like those octagon, like little sections in the house. And back then they used to view the dead in front of those windows. And I found out for sure 100% his wife, his coffin was there for 3 days for visitation. And so they both died in the home. and we do have evidence that he is still residing there. We've gotten his name, just a lot of evidence pointing towards to him in general.
But does he actually react or like respond or give you any kind of message or it's just, I mean, does he do something in particular? Is he angry? Is he happy? Is he bad? Is he sad? If that's possible, I don't even know.
Oh yeah, they can have emotions. A lot of people think sometimes too, oh, it's evil because he like scratched me or they threw something, or sometimes that's just their way of getting attention. Also, if you were an old cranky guy, you're going to be an old cranky guy when you die. So that could just be their way of lashing out. So it doesn't necessarily have to be evil. But we have gotten like a lot of EVPs, which are spirit voices we've captured. So we've heard things like Fred's coming. We've actually had things that say, I'm Fred. And we have another machine too it's called a spirit box. And what that does, it's like a radio scanner. So it goes from one spectrum of the radio. I run mine on AM, so it goes from like whatever is like 530 to 1500. But it scans that in 1/100th of a second. So scientifically, you cannot speak that quickly. So especially if you're getting a full sentence. And for instance, I was running that in the main bedroom, and I actually have a wedding picture of the Eckerts on the wall. And I said, hey, is anybody in this room, anybody in this picture? And the spirit box replied, do you mean the Eckerts? So what are the odds of even happening, for one, saying the last name, running on an AM station in a town of 150 people? Your odds are 1,000,000 to 1 that that's going to come through.
And you actually have that. You have that recorded.
Yeah, we do.
Wow, that's
yeah,
crazy.
These. And Mike, are you familiar with that? They're called EVP. These EVPs, they're actually they have a box, and there's different kinds of. I even have an app on my phone actually with a couple of different ones that I've tried before.
About that. Remember, you used to do that. Yeah.
The GR Connect. I got this GR Connect one.
Yeah,
that one's
I don't know.
pretty good, but I have
are those real
one.
Jill, or are they just like play apps?
I don't really. I don't know much about the phone apps. Just because I'm kind of old school and I like my old technology. That's what I'm comfortable with. So I honestly can't tell you if they're legit or not. I know a lot of people use them though, and I've seen some results on it.
So you won't take on new technology. You'll stay with what you know.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Plus, technology and me do not mix really well. I always laugh because I do like my own video production, but I can't work a cell phone and I can't, so it's just not my forte. But I'm kind of comfortable in things that I'm used to working with. I kind of I don't like change. You get to a certain age, you just don't like to change.
Have you visited other locations that have been haunted?
Oh gosh, yeah. Our team we formed in 2010, and we traveled over the U.S. to well-known haunted locations in search of answers, and then that's what kind of spawned me into buying my own place and doing kind of the same thing with other people.
Have you ever been scared?
Yeah, a couple times. I think you always kind of forget you won't forget. Our very first place we went to, we started out doing public not events. We would go to private homes and businesses, and then we decided to start going to these well-known haunted locations. So we went to the Villisca Axe Murder House as our first haunted location. So if people aren't familiar with that, there were 8 people who were murdered with an axe in 1910, I believe it was. Yeah. And they never found the killer, and I think it was 6 of them were children that were killed there. So, I was really scared being there, but it was also very emotionally overwhelming as well, because you could.
So you were feeling that emotion?
You could feel the sadness in that room. I think because it's such a tiny house. I just stood up there and kind of looked at where the kids were and looked at where the parents were murdered. And I just started getting this overwhelming sadness, and I started crying.
Wow.
because I just felt, oh my God, they had to have heard everything. And so that really struck me emotionally. But we did get a lot of interaction that night. But just, we were in the one kid's room, and a couple of my team members were just like in this little crawl space where the killer had hid, and they were going to come in. We were going to do a session. But the beds they have are really the old boingy, the metal springs. So when you sit on them, they're very, very bouncy. So you know when something would sit next to you. And I'm just in there by myself waiting, and all of a sudden, something just drops down on the bed, and the whole thing starts shaking. I got up and ran because I was like, "Oh my God, something just got next to me!" And so ran my gal over who was holding the camera, recording all that. But I went back in there, and everything was fine. We had a lot of activity, but we were trying to sleep, and
No,
they
wait
were
a
throwing
wait a second. Wait a second. My first thing, I don't want to be funny, but my first thought is like, is this before or after Jeffrey Epstein died? That's the first thing. No, what I'm thinking is though, how does something that's invisible and ghostly have physical presence to sit and put the weight on that? In other words, if you're an ethereal being, how is that person, that ghost, creating a physical movement and weight onto the bed, into the springs?
Yeah, we're not really sure on that because if you think about it too, you'll hear footsteps, like boots walking, but yet, like you say, they're not, probably don't have real shoes, or they have shoes on, but they're ghostly. They're just basically ectoplasm. They're just made of energy. So how is this even happening? But somehow they are creating some sort of energy where they're able to manipulate it and able to turn things on, to touch things, to move things. And these are some of the answers that some of us investigators are trying to research. I know a lot of just go and search the paranormal, which I did at first, because I started a lot of it too because I was afraid to die, and I just didn't want death to be it. I just couldn't handle the fact that I was going to be in complete blackness. That's it. It's over. I couldn't handle it. So just starting investigating proved to myself that there is another side. And so I spend a lot of my time now researching on like, what the heck goes on over there? What are you going to tell me? So I ask a lot of questions about the other side. I've gotten a few responses, whether they're true or not, I'm just going to go with it. But yeah,
Well, wait a minute.
see what
We want to hear. We want to hear that. We want to hear what are those few questions that you ask that you think may be true? Because if you're asking a spirit through those spirit, I understand. By the way, Mike, she says she has these spirit boxes, and there's all different kinds of spirit boxes. I used to watch a guy called Huff Paranormal on YouTube a lot, and he had some really creepy things going on. I don't know if he's legit or not, and I don't want to even ask you, Joe, whether or not that's the case, but there's these different boxes. Now, you apparently own, they call it SB11 and an SB7 and portal box, that you have these different types of boxes. And you could hear. So if you're going to ask a spirit a question and he asks and returns with an answer, the first thing you want to know is, what about God? What about what happens after we die? Is there evil? Is there spirit? Is there good? Is there bad? All these things. Have you found any of that out? Anything that's really imperative to us to know as human beings on the earth in physical bodies in 3D?
Yeah, my philosophy at this point is whenever we start to talk about God, Jesus, heaven, hell, any of that stuff, it shuts down. Like, it will not respond. Like, you could be getting great answers to questions, and then that happens. We did, this is where I kind of formed that theory too. We were actually at a rectory where they do know that they have a priest that haunts the place. He actually committed suicide in that rectory, so they feel like he is stuck there. And we had a conversation using a piece of equipment. It was the K2 meter, which detects electromagnetic energy, but we had set it there. Nothing was going on. You use it to answer questions, but you prove, hey, if this is you, touch it, make it do this. So you make it verified. So with some of the questions, it was, talking, that he was sorry for what he did. He wished he hadn't killed himself. But then I started asking him about God and Jesus and all that, and nothing was happening. And for them to answer, if you don't touch it, the answer is no. And I said, well, is there a God? And nothing happened. I said, so you're telling me there is no God and it still didn't do anything? And then I said, can you not even talk to me about this? And that thing went bright red, 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 red. So it's like they're not, I don't think they're supposed to let you know everything, or these are just things you're not supposed to know until you pass. And I think it's like an unwritten, silence or whatever thing they got going on over in their different realms they got.
How crazy is that, though? Think about how crazy this is. The eternal question about life, the most important questions in the world that you can't get an answer to, and when you're actually speaking to a deceased person. So there's some block on it. It's almost like there's an encryption over us knowing what the reality is supposed to be. And I wonder why.
I guess maybe they like the faith thing, keep the faith. But it's the age-old question, right? What happens when you die? So, I mean, we just had that the doctor from the Soul Phone on, and, that's what they're trying to prove, right? What happens when you die? Is there anything else? Everybody wants that comfort, just like her. I was never really afraid to die until I had children. Then I was afraid to die. So I would ask the same question. So I would hope that someone answered, but there must be some kind of like limitation on it. You're not allowed to answer that, keep that.
It's a spiritual firewall, if you will.
It's got to be something. So what questions did you get answered that were interesting? Do you have
that's what I want to know.
Yeah. So one of the things that sparked my interest is just listening to the spirit box. A couple of times I would hear two spirits having conversations together. And one particular one I had, it said, "Hi, my name is Drew." And then a man answered, "Pleased to meet you." And this was just running in a theater. And I was like, this is not the first time I've heard people talk. I got to find out, do you meet new people when you die? And I've had several locations I've been in it. So when I ask the questions, I try to get the same answer, but at different places so I can verify, I have the same answer to the question, like at 4 different places. And they said, yes, you do meet new people when you pass away. Your relatives do come and get you when you pass, or people that come to get you when you're passed. There are pets up in heaven, and also, I wouldn't say up in heaven, but there are pets where you go to die, because I didn't probably say heaven. And there was one, and they can follow you home if they want. So those were the answers I got questions to.
That leads me to another thing. My daughter wants to buy a Victorian home, an old Victorian home, and that's shot and very low cost, and redo it and refurbish the whole thing. And she loves the old mirror and the old fireplace and all that. Is it possible that when you go purchase an old home that there's attachments to the spirit in physical items in the home, attachments to maybe suppose she buys a mirror from a store or whatever that's, 100-year-old mirror or something. Is that possible to have ghosts attached to the physicalness of something that you move between places?
Oh, most definitely. That could be their prized possession. That's their link to staying here. That could be the only thing that's holding them to this particular planet and the realm, our physical realm. Versus their spirit world. Maybe they don't want to move on and they have to hold on to that antique mirror, and that they're just going to go where that mirror goes. That's their baby. So yeah, most definitely. So a lot of times too, you may buy an antique at some shop and not even know that there's an attachment to it. So, and we do have it at our house too. I'm trying to bring it back to the 1900s. So we do have a lot of antiques, a lot of Victorian furniture in the house. So that could totally bring an energy. And plus, I bought some dolls that were supposedly haunted just for fun, and I don't know if they are, but they're there.
Wow, that's
for
crazy.
Fun. That's for fun.
You could just buy something and bring it home, and then all of a sudden your house is haunted now.
It could happen, yes.
She's saying when you bring it home, you're saying that actually they could come home with you or it could attach to you. So when you say that, that's an energy that kind of jumps on your shoulders or becomes a predator to you, or becomes I come almost seeing it as like a something that sucks off of you, like a I don't know what what are things that suck off you, those those little things that suck the blood out of you. What am I thinking of?
The leeches.
Yeah,
Leech.
is it almost like a leech? Yeah, yeah. Could they become leeches of your energy?
Oh, of course, yeah, because they need energy to manifest or do anything that they need to do. So they do need energy. So they'll take it from you. They'll take it from electronics and just drain batteries. Sometimes even just the light flickering. They're just taking the energy from that power. But yeah, they can attach to you. We try to say a little something before we leave each location. I just like a little prayer. I think it's just kind of whatever you feel comfortable, whatever you feel your faith is going to protect you. I think is what the main thing is. And there was one time, and I don't know if Alex did or did not say a prayer to himself, but he lived in an apartment for many, many years, no activity whatsoever. And we had gone to Melbourne Manor, and he felt like something attached to him at that particular time when he got home, because all of a sudden his kitchen faucets were turning on and off, his bathroom was turning on and off, the bathtub was going on and off, dog was barking. He's like, there is absolutely no insane reason why this should be going on. So he saged his house or his apartment, and he didn't have a problem since. But yeah, they can attach, if they want to follow you home.
So are they parasitic?
Well, they can be. They have, especially, again, it's rare to have, evil, demonic entities, but they do exist, and those are the ones that are more going to suck you dry because they want more from you, where I would say 90% of the spirits are friendly, and they want to be known. They're trying to get a story out. They're just like you and me. They just live in a different world than you and I do.
I don't
but
think
they
they're
do
supposed
need
to be there. I think they're not supposed to be there. As you say this in my mind, I'm thinking, well, maybe they're not supposed to be. They can't tell you about what's going on in the real afterlife. It sounds like they're in a transitional place that they're kind of stuck in, and they could float around there for as long as they like and not move on. Maybe they need to move on, and the only reason they can stay here is because they're being parasitic to us as humans.
It could be, but some of them don't want help. Like, you'll ask them, "Are you happy?" And they say yes. Some of them choose to stay because this is their, say they die in their home and this is all they've known. Maybe they built that house and they had so many memories. And sometimes some people, now this would be one that you would probably maybe want to help move on. But back in the day, if you committed a sin, you were scared to go and tried to go to the light because you thought, oh my gosh, I might be going down below because I stole and so sinning back in the day was more shunned upon. So it could be for religious reasons, and those would be ones that you definitely would want to help out. But I think some are content and happy to be where they are, and some do need help because we have had some spirits come through and say, help me. We've had some mediums, go to places where they're like, hold on, they're asking me to pass them over. So I think some choose to be, and some don't, like you say, are stuck and need help getting out.
Do you provide them with energy if there's nothing in the house? I mean, do you bring something that they could feed off of, or it's just basically if there's electric in the place or back? Well, yeah, I know you. I don't know. I don't know if you have to provide the energy to help them.
Like I said, they can go off you or the electronics, but they do make products called electromagnetic energy EM pumps that helps pump out electromagnetic energy into the air, hoping that energy will increase. We've used that several times, and it usually takes a couple hours to run, and then after that, it tends to amp up the energy level of what's going on. And I know one time we were at the house that I purchased, the Boyd house, and we had decided that we were going to go to the Historical Society, do some research. So we put one on in every single room of the house, which is probably overkill. And then we left for 6.5 hours. And so when we came back, the house had such a different feel. It was just heavy. There was just like too much going on, and we had some pretty good activity that night, but yeah. So
see, PZ, you're laughing at me, but I'm thinking the right way. You see?
No, I'm not laughing at. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just thinking about like I'm I always see the humor in things, and right away I'm picturing like them eating like hot dogs and whatever, like ethereal hot dogs. But what I find interesting, what she's saying now is I keep getting this impression coming back into my head, thinking that this transitional period between she's saying a moment ago that they're happy. Okay. Some people are actually in that transition place. And then she's saying that there's people that say, please help me, send them through the light. So my next question would be to you, Jill, is are you able to help them go into the light? But more importantly, before we even get into that direction, these people that are in this middle zone, this midway between here and the light, let's say, if you will, those people or spirits must be in a state of something. And that state is of grace? Is it evil? Is it normal? Is it what is the state that is this in-between state that you're speaking about? Because that's really what you're researching. Once they go past that light, can we even speak to them at that point? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, that's a good question, because you always think, do my relatives come down and watch over me? As far as moving them on, that's not something that anyone in our team is able to do. We're not trained for that, but we do have people we can refer to if we feel that we were getting responses such as "help me" from that particular spirit wanting to pass through. And again, everybody's still researching as to what the other side. Sometimes it could be a veil. Some people call it a veil. Some are just reaching on the other side. Is it darkness over there? Is it black? Is it colors? These are all things everybody's, trying to learn and research. And, just like I'm saying, from my basic experience, that's why I think you have a 50-50 mix of some of like, hey, this is cool. I'm happy here. I'm loving it. And the others, again, just they want to move on or, so things
optimistic spirit.
Yeah. We're just, everybody's still learning. That's, we got questions and they got to give us some answers if they can, which I don't think I don't think we're allowed to know everything. They always say when you pass away, you'll know everything. So
it doesn't sound like they do know everything, because they won't open up their cards about God and all of that. So unless they do know it and they're not allowed to say it, they'll be damned away.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I felt like they have some sort of unwritten rule that they can't speak about these things. That's just something that's taboo.
Okay. So here's what they call a $64,000 question. Are you afraid to die now?
I'm still on the fence. It's like it's scary now because I guess I wouldn't say afraid. I guess I just don't want to because I'm just having.
Oh, that's one thing. Okay.
Yeah, I've had the greatest time of my life, but I guess I wouldn't be. I don't think I'd be as scared because I feel like there is totally another side. I've had even just some relatives experiences saying that there is like, for instance, my aunt, her husband passed away, so my uncle, and for about 3 days after the funeral, while the funeral was going on and stuff, she would see him. She'd come downstairs and see him sitting. And the last time that he saw her, he said, "There's a heaven and it's beautiful." And then she never saw him again.
Wow.
And then when my mother passed away, just before she passed away, who was extremely religious, I said, "Mom, you got to let me know somehow, some way. You've got to let me know." And probably about 2 days later, my daughter and I never told my daughter that I had said that to my mother. And she said, "Mom, I had this crazy dream about Grandma. It was so vivid. She looked great. We were just in a room, me and her at a table. It was so clear. And she just told me to tell you the answer is yes." And I don't know what that means, but that's what she told me to tell you. So I just kind of based off those experiences, I think I feel a little bit more closer that, yeah, to me, I think there's a heaven. Now, have I proven that paranormally wise? No, but in my heart, I believe so.
I'm in my mind, I'm thinking the husband's going, "Yes, there's a heaven, trust me." And then he goes, and then you want to do it again. Are you sure there's that? Oh, wait, your wife, my mom, your mom just came here. Wait a minute. It's not as good as I thought it was. I can't help but make fun of it sometimes. Hey, so this is fascinating though, because now I'm thinking, all right, do you think the people that are in this transition place, are they evil? Are they good? Are they bad? I know I kind of reiterating this, but because they're in this transition, are they I mean, because people say there's evil spirits, there's good spirits. They say spirits are just like the people. Okay, great. But this transitional space, does that change them in any way? Or is it just, if it's an apple here, it's an apple there?
Yeah, you are who you are when you die. You're not going to change your attitude at all. It's not going to be, if you're, like I said, if you're a crabby old man, you're going to be a crabby old ghost. If you're a happy person, you're going to come back as a happy person. So you are who you are.
Yeah, but there are opinions on that, right, PZ? Like we spoke to that guy, said that they were speaking to somebody. They were doing something through mediums and psychics also, and they were speaking to a child that was murdered, and the murderer had come through, and I think it was a rapist. It was like very, very bad. And he said, on Earth, I was sick, but where I am now, I don't have that affliction anymore. I'm normal. So I guess there's a difference of like if people change or they don't change. I mean, I guess we don't know until we get there if there's a place. But I mean, I don't want to die, but I hope there's something after this, because that would be awesome.
Yeah, I have not heard of that, but this could be something I'm not familiar with.
What about for telling the future? Because the people in that middle space see the future of physical people.
They can see you, because I've asked them questions like, first, can you see me? I've gotten yes, and then I'll say, well, what color is my shirt? And they nail it. Whatever color I'm wearing, they got it.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy. I've had actually a spirit. We were at the Randolph Infirmary. It was just Teresa and I doing this huge asylum by ourselves. And we had gotten an EVP of a woman that said, oh, come on in, girls, pleased to meet you. So here she was looking at us, just two girls walking down the hall. Obviously we caught that later on a recorder, but, I kind of think back like, oh my God, some woman was wanting us to come in her room, so,
right.
That's kind of fascinating when you get that kind of stuff too.
But can they see the future?
No, that means they can see you in the shower and everything, PZ.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we're all thinking.
They can.
I'm just thinking I better change a lot of my behavior. That's how someone watching me all the time.
You're actually going to watch yourself? No, but I was thinking
when that guy got home, he had something attached to him. It was turning the water on. It was turning the shower on. Maybe he was just telling the guy he was very dirty and he smelled. Maybe you better take a shower.
But I want to know, can they see the future? Because can that spirit?
What do you want? The lotto numbers? I don't know. You're gonna ask me.
No, I'm not even asking. No, I'm not going that far. I'm looking at maybe like, for instance, they could say to you, hey, there's bonds in the basement in this little cubby hole, or guess what? I see that you don't take the flight to Florida in July, or something to that effect, something like to prevent you from an accident or whatever.
In my research, I haven't seen anything as far as telling the future, because I've asked them, well, jokingly, the lottery numbers, like you said, but just kind of things like when we're coming up on election, hey, who's the president going to be? And I'll never get really an answer on that. So just current events, I will ask questions, never received an answer. But then again, you have people too that sometimes, like you say, will have that premonition, like either they'll have a dream or maybe a voice that comes in their head that tells you, don't go this way, take this, don't take that flight. Again, is that paranormal? Or is that your inner instinct kicking in again and picking up? Because we all had that ability.
Or could it be from the people that have passed all the way into the light, as opposed to the people that are trapped in that middle? I hate to say trapped, chosen to stay in that middle spot as a ethereal being, earthbound, if you will. I mean, in my mind, I see it as levels. I would imagine it's done in levels. You're here in the 3D world, physical, then you die, and then you're this ethereal. You're earthbound, maybe ethereally at some point for a certain amount of time before you go into the light and go to this next evolution of your spirit, I would imagine. Do you agree with what I just said, or am I just making up nonsense?
No, they do say there's different planes, like you were saying, different astral planes that you go through. How many are there? We don't know. I've asked that too. I've gotten different numbers. I've gotten 7. I've gotten 12. I've gotten different. So I'm never getting a consistent number on that particular question.
Depends on what spirit you're asking. You got smart ones, you got dumb ones, right? Apparently, there's.
Well, maybe that's as far as they get to go. I'm only level 2, So
I only want to
now,
talk to Einstein, the dead Einstein. I don't want to talk to any of the very. I don't want to talk to the
now,
comedian spirits.
when you put all that energy out there, and you said you came back to the house and it felt very heavy, did you have more action going on in the house? Was there more things happening?
yeah, we had that particular night. We heard a lot of footsteps moving and a lot of just movement around the house, and you could just feel that somebody was there. We heard a woman's voice that particular night as well up in the attic. She just said yoo-hoo. So we heard that. I think we heard some doors banging. I've had one door open. And that was the same night too that people were feeling like somebody was touching their feet or pulling on their blankets at night. They felt it was children doing that because we do have a lot of child activity in the house. So yeah, it just amped it up. For some reason though, it ruined the spirit box. It like charged it up so much that you could not run it. It was just pure staticky, and you couldn't run it that night. So I don't know what kind of how much that affected it, but it was just kind of weird that we weren't able to run any of the 3 spirit boxes at all.
So now you sleep in that house?
Oh gosh, yeah. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
we
But you sleep.
Yeah, I haven't slept there alone. I usually don't sleep anywhere by myself in haunted locations, but I always thought other paranormal groups actually slept in the haunted locations. I found out that we're kind of a rare breed. I mean, I'm not saying that people don't, but I thought everybody did. And we bring up air mattresses and we just flop them down about 2, 3 in the morning and go to sleep. So yeah, it doesn't bother me at all.
And then you wonder why the spirits are pissed at you. They're like, look at all these people coming into my house sleeping on air mattresses. Like, what are they doing? Hey, this is my place. What are you doing? It's like, how much more can you disrespect me? Is what they're thinking. Hey, Jill, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What is your idea of religion, and are you a religious person? And how does that fall into what you're doing with paranormal investigation?
Not too much. I mean, I was raised Catholic, so I tend to side on that side of the religion, but it's kind of funny because they frown upon speaking with the dead and things. So as far as me saying a prayer and using my religious beliefs for my own personal protection to what makes me feel protected when I go, but as far as any of it leaning towards how I investigate or anything with the paranormal has nothing to do with that.
Any of the ghosts that come through in the house, are they happy you're there? Are any of them mad? Do they say that to you?
No, nobody seems to be mad at all as far as the ones at my house. They all seem to be pretty happy and content. I always ask them, are you okay with the people coming here? I talk to them with a lot of respect, just like I'm talking with you. And I will sit there and just tell them about my week. What did you do this week? Hey, so-and-so was here last week and they told me they got this. That was pretty funny that you guys did that. Like I'll have these complete conversations with them. I actually got an EVP once where I was just rambling on about, like, hey, I'm going to a wedding. You ever been to a wedding? And I'm just going, on and on and on. And because I was talking, I kind of blocked out some of what the woman said because we have a woman there with a really raspy voice. And she just said, she was like, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to sleep. So it's like here she was trying to take a nap. And I'm sitting here just rambling on about my week. So, but I think I have a really good connection with my spirits too. So they seem to be pretty friendly. The more I learn about them, I have actually connected with their great grandson. So I'm finding more personable information about them. And so I bring them, as you would say, gifts or tokens. Recently found out he loved Life magazine from the 1940s. So I bought a bunch of those and I brought those in for them.
Wow.
So and I ask them all the time, what do you want? I'll bring you whatever you want, within reason. So yeah, I make them happy. They like to play cards. They've thrown cards off the table. We've played poker together. So it's
Wow.
been interesting. Yeah.
crazy.
Wow.
It seems so crazy. It makes no sense that they could actually give a magazine a table and he just scans it. I guess spiritually scans the magazine.
You may have
Well,
some guy that want to play. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, it's just a gesture, I mean, someday I might find it open or I might find it on the floor. They can't like physically pick it up and read it. But it's just the gesture. Like I said, I've played cards with them because I figured poker back in the day is something that they did, and I brought some old coins and had a gold coin for the grand prize, and I had a REM pod on the table, which again detects if they get a break of the electromagnetic energy, which of course we believe spirits are made out of, that machine will go off. And that went off from like 3 p.m. to like 8 p.m. And every time I ran down there, it would quit because it didn't want me to see that. But every time I was down there, I'd reshuffle the cards and talk to them and, play a hand, whatever. But I always kept one card to the side. And I put it right to the edge of the table, not hanging over the table, just right to the edge. And I'm like, hey, if you enjoyed this evening, I had a great time. If you loved it, throw this card off the table. And at midnight, they threw that card off the table, and I caught that on film. So I was pretty excited about that.
Wow.
You caught that on the video?
Yeah, I caught that on video. And then we've had a team that has been in there that actually did it while they were sitting there. And we also have had a team that actually played 21 with them. And so they used a K2 meter, which is, again, that thing that will light up with the detection of electromagnetic energy. And they sat there and played 21, like several hands, and that ghost hit every single time. Like he would.
You mean like they asked you to hit me or I'm good or whatever?
Yeah. So they would kind of play like if you want to hit the machine, make it light up, and so but he would, and if you want to stay, don't touch it. And he did,
Wow.
he sometimes he'd bust, but yeah, he'd hit 17 and be like stay, So it was crazy. Like they were actually playing 21 with this spirit.
And
Wow.
where, can people see all this video, all this stuff? Is there a place they can see all this stuff?
Yeah, we have all our video, pretty much anything that we've captured, other teams captured right now is just on our Facebook page under Boyd House. You can see a lot of the videos there.
YouTube also?
We have some of the Boyd House stuff on YouTube, not everything. And that's under our St. Croix Paranormal.
Facebook? So Facebook's
Mostly
a better spot?
For right now, yeah, we got to get some other venues going and get some more videos up on our website as well. So,
the booker of talent, John Galasso, who contacted you, had a question. He was asking, why is it that certain spirits speak to people like yourself, perhaps, but other people they may not interact with at all? Is there a reason why a spirit would maybe talk to one group of people or certain people and not others?
it just depends on your energy level. So if you're just kind of talking, if you're talking about people being in the same location, like say, one group comes to my house and they might get activity or whatever, and another group wouldn't. That could be based on the energy of your team, whether that spirit likes you or not, because if they don't want to talk to you, they don't have to talk to you. We don't, you can't force them to do anything. They're their own entity. So there's just a lot of different varying factors. And how much energy do they have? Maybe they're just spent from the day before. Maybe they did a full apparition in the house and showed themselves even though nobody was there. That takes a lot of energy to do. So there's a lot of different factors involved in that.
And she's nice to them too. Plays cards with them. She brings magazines for them. You may get, what if you get a bad ghost? Say, hey, do you need anything? You want me to bring you something? Says, yeah, hookers and vodka. I mean, no, but I guess you get what you give. She's respectful and she's acting normal to them. Maybe they're gonna, talk to her more than someone else. Plus, she sleeps there. I didn't realize that maybe a spirit or ghost, whatever you want to call it, they actually sleep. The woman said, I'm taking a nap, I want to sleep.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I found that odd too.
You think they wear a sheet to sleep? Easy.
I don't think they're going to keep that. I don't think they're really that warm or cold, are they? But, what's interesting is what she says, when they muster up energy to do apparition or muster up, how much energy can they muster up and how much can they physically cause in the real 3D world? I mean, taking the card off the table to fall down is you just blow on it with your breath and make that fall. But how much energy would it take to open up cabinet doors, to start, let the telephone ring, turn on the television, perhaps move the couch from one end of the room to the other? How much energy can they muster up? And when does it become that they can muster up so much that it causes a real problem for a person that does live in a haunted house.
Oh, they can get quite a bit of energy, just even enough to physically push a person. We've had that happen on investigations. You can be scratched. Objects can be thrown. And that takes a lot of energy for them to do that type of things that they can do to you. So I've seen lots of things that you would be like, oh my gosh, how did that even happen?
That sounds like that sounds like Peasy's house when he gets in trouble with his wife. Things getting thrown, smashed.
Yeah,
that's me. I'm throwing this stuff around. So I don't think when you hear about this though, you watch these paranormal shows, and I'm sure Jill, I know you had one of your own that you were working with too, I think. But when you see those shows, sometimes you see and you see somebody's got scratched or they physically were harmed. So apparently, in this world of spiritual beings, you're not allowed to talk about God or tell the future, but you could physically hurt a human being, it looks like. Have you had any experience with somebody not just being pushed, but physically getting scratched or hurt in any way?
Yeah, I've actually I've felt my shirt being tugged. I've had scratches on me before, and I've felt things like that. The most one I've probably witnessed, though, is my teammate Teresa. We were at a place called Whispers Estate, which is known for evil entities, bad things. We had the doctor there did unethical things to his female patients. There were body parts buried in the backyard. There's so many deaths. He killed his own daughter. So just a lot of bad energy. And there's a closet where one of the workers died the day he retired, dropped dead of a heart attack in front of the closet. And so they have a lot of negative. They have a lot of scratching, a lot of people being pushed, locked in the closet. So, of course, when we went there, we thought, hey, we got to go in this closet. So it's like a big walk-in closet, So they had a little table there. They had a chair, a couple chairs in there. I was in there, and I got a male voice in my head that said, get out of this closet. I stepped out of the closet, but I also don't like being in closets because I always feel like the door's going to slam like in a movie and I'm not going to be able to get out. So I don't like it anyway. So I didn't say anything to Teresa, just thinking, oh, it's just me being, paranoid. And then the spirit box said, shut this door. And we didn't do that either. And the next thing you know, Teresa and this chair come flying out of that room. And they went about 4 feet across the floor, and she landed on her hands and knees. She said something physically picked up that chair and pushed her really, really hard. We tried to debunk it to make sure she didn't just fall. And she's like, first of all, if I had that happen, I'd be like right here. I'd fall right forward. I wouldn't be 4 feet here out into the hallway. And she's like, and I felt it. I felt him push that chair. So that was like one of the first times I guess I realized that they really can do some severe damage if they choose to.
How many bedrooms in that house?
Mine or that particular
the Boyd house.
The Boyd house. That has 3 bedrooms in it. Yeah, we have 3 bedrooms. We have the parlor, and the living room.
You let people go sleep there?
Oh yeah, they can rent it out overnight.
You want to
go?
Wait
a minute. Now you got me. I would go, but now you got me interested. How many bedrooms are in your house, Jill?
My own personal house, 3.
I was going to say, it would be really sad if she only had like 1 bedroom house and the one she bought with the ghost got 3. But more importantly, when you're saying that they have this energy that can really hurt somebody with, have you ever had a spirit come across where you felt like they were truly evil? They're telling you they're evil. They're telling you like, I will hurt you, or I will destroy you, or don't come near us, or stay away, or something like, get out, or one of those creepy movie kind of cliches.
Yeah, we've had a couple places we've been were known for evil entity type things. I didn't have a lot of negative. One was Reverend Acres, which unfortunately has been torn down, but they have had a couple where some only men have gotten possessed actually in that house and like do weird things, like walk weird or just, basically like exorcist type stuff. So Alex, our only male on the team, was kind of freaked out to sleep there. We was like, when we're going to bed, I'm like, Alex, just put your air mattress between us girls. We gotcha, And then in the middle of the night, he like wakes up. I'm like, what's up, buddy? He's like, I have an uneasy feeling. I heard footsteps coming down the stairs. I got to go. I'm going to go sleep in the van. And I'm like, okay, whatever, And then when I check the EVPs at that particular moment, right after the footsteps and seconds before Alex said, I gotta go, woke up and had to go. The EVP said, kill one. So I was like, oh my gosh, which one were they going to kill? It's like,
wow.
Yeah, so we've had that, and then we've had when we were actually at that same rectory that we spoke with the spirit, they also had, they had like satanic worshiping going on at that place. Well, so a lot of evil stuff going there. We got an EVP that said, I want your skin. So that was kind of a creepy one to have as well. And yeah, Teresa was getting really drained. It was just a weird, eerie feeling that night. Like Teresa's a bartender, so she's like at 11 o'clock falling asleep. Couldn't even keep. She's like, something's not right. But we take her outside, she was fine. When you bring her back in, about 20 minutes later, she's like
Mikey,
drained.
I want your skin.
Yeah,
it's too.
Mike, I want your skin.
You can have it.
Before we close up, before we close up, what made you buy the Boyd house? What made you buy that? What prompted you to say, let's go get a haunted house and own it?
Well, just all the traveling that we do. When you go to the well-known haunted locations, you're there one time, maybe 8, 12 hours, and you can get what you get. Now I can go multiple times. I could make a connection with these ghosts. I can make a relationship with them and learn a lot more, and then learn from others too that are going. So even having other investigators there, I've learned a lot of information, having other mediums through there. So it just makes it for a better connection for me and the spirits and for everyone to come out and learn about these spirits that live there.
That's a great answer, Jill. And we really appreciate you coming on and spending time with us. We hope you'll come back, especially when you have anything else coming up, something you want to promote, because we could go on for this for hours and hours. This is the quickest 60 minutes ever. Where could we find you? I know you have a YouTube channel, and I believe the YouTube channel is called Paranormal Patrol. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's our little mini TV show. It kind of documents all the fun places we've been. It's kind of a little keepsake for us too. We can look back and see where we've done, and it's just kind of fun.
And where else should we find you at online?
Our website at stcroixparanormal.com, or again on Facebook, the Boyd House or St. Croix Paranormal for Facebook, or you can direct email us if you're interested in spending the night at Boyd House at 217 at yahoo.com.
I say we go, Mike. I'm going. And Leland will come down too and bring. He has his own spirits that he can bring. I'm sure. He has the liquid spirits. Well, Jill, thank you so much. You're a delight to and thanks for being so easygoing with us with the interview. I mean, we poke a little fun. I poke a little fun at a few things, but I really take it very seriously. And what you do is really a great service to us all, because I've learned something tonight, and I'd like to speak to you again in the future.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
You're a pleasure. Thank you so much. And once look up Boyd House online and call Jill if you'd like to go down and spend a weekend and investigate your own.
Come sleep with me and Peasy. We're going to give away a gift.
We'll give you a little skin in the game. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Jill. Take care and stay well and healthy. Mikey, that's really great. Am I afraid to go to her house? No, I would go do it. However, if I was sleeping in the house and suddenly, like, somebody pushed me or something and wasn't there, I'd be out that door in a minute. Whoa! I'd be right out the door. We got to go, Mike. It's been too much fun.
All right.
We'll see you next time. Hey, Mikey, we have to let everybody know, if you guys liked our show, what do you have to do? Smash the like button on Facebook or on YouTube. Subscribe, say hello, share it to your friends. And by the way, I want to thank our booker of the show. Who is it?
John Galasso.
Right. John Galasso's website is, Mike, do you know what it is?
Yes, justlaugh.org.
That's right. Just Laugh. And this is a great book all about humor.
Org, like paranormal org.
Not O-R-B. It's O-R-G.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we want to thank him. We want to thank Leland, the man from God who put us up here tonight. And we'll see you on the other side. Thanks a lot, guys. You've been great. Sauces, take care.